Hi and welcome to this episode of Sailing Frida Visby. This is part 2 out of 2 of our Atlantic passage. From the Azores to Lagos in Portugal. We get an unexpected visit from a bow and some heavy weather is chasing us, and we also have to deal with some trust issues.
Don't feel safe to go to fleet.
Then we see this familiar sight. And remember, a thumbs up always makes us happy. Welcome to Sailing Frida Visby. We have quit our working life to see the world from our sailboat, and we want to bring you with us. Collect lots of memories and fun experiences and memorable moments like this. Let's take a look at how our trip during our first 2 years of cruises has been. We hope to put many more miles under the key.
My name is Anders.
I am Gita, and this is Litsa, the truly free spirit on board.
After an amazing time on the Atlantic Islands, Madeira and Azores, it was time for us to turn back to mainland Portugal, and we there for almost 6 days and 900 nautical long passage. In part 1 we settled into the Atlantic rhythm and we entertained ourselves by doing sail-bys with our buddy boat Tintomara and got some great footage of us sailing. And we also had a little incident. But now it's day 4 and let's start with a surprise from there. Good morning! It's day 4. So we don't have so much sails out. And we're still running the engine. We have been running the engine and motor sail during the night due to that we are still in a rush to get to South Center and Sagres to get a little bit of windshield because there are coming some strong winds. So to keep the speed during the night, we have motor sail because the wind died down. But now it's up to almost 20 knots. What is that? Looks like somebody's flying a drone over our boat. Tintomara, they don't like to fly theirs. Yeah, it was a funny thing. I'm pretty sure that we were checked out by a drone from the pleasure craft Marguerite, which looks like it was some kind of super yacht, because it was quite big. It wasn't a sailing vessel. They have been catching up with us. They are doing almost twice the speed. 12.5 knots while we were doing 7. But they looked like they had the engine power and probably the resources to pay for the fuel. We don't even have fuel to get to the mainland, so we got to start sailing again. It's tired. And I am tired too. This is a long trip. This is day 4. And, 3 nights without sleep and 3 days with constant movement. You have to hang on all the time. I can actually feel it in my muscles that you're hanging on all constantly in downs. Enough talking, I have to wake up the captain. Passing the halfway point.
Now we're more than halfway, 374 nautical miles left.
374 nautical miles is a little bit longer than from Boston to Washington.
8 o'clock in the morning, or maybe even 7. Tintomara, det här är Frida, kom.
Ja, här kom.
Hur går det för er? Kom.
Vi tyckte om avstånd för en timme sedan och sånt. Nu har vi bara revat på botten.
Okej, och det tycker du känns bra? Jag tycker det går lika fort som vi gör. Kom.
Har ni måttlat bakom?
Oh ja.
The wind is slowly increasing, but so far everything is fine. And we are enjoying a good sailing day and trying to keep the speed up. We have changed to the jib instead of the Genoa. As you can see, it's quite a lot of wind, around 20 knots. 5, preferably 7 knots. So what's our speed now?
Not good enough.
Not good enough. Okay. Can we take out a little more of the jib?
Thinking of what's best.
At the same time as we have a need for speed, we also want as comfortable ride as possible. No, we're going to get some strong winds by then, but now we get some unpredicted strong winds already on day 4. Here you can see if we got more than 23 knots, but also that we are sailing over 7 knots, which is exactly the kind of speed we need to get ahead of the storm.
The wind is picking up, and Anders is trying to download some new weather reports. As we get spray over the windows, got one that was really big a few minutes ago. But we're nice and comfortable in here. The cockpit is quite wet.
And so is the deck, as you can see.
I don't think we should open those side windows today. There it came. Another one. We get the waves from the side and the splashes up.
Outside the window we can see the waves build up to, I would guess, roughly 3 meters. If you listen carefully, you can hear the wind howling.
I say they are a little bit wrong in their predictions. They seem to say that it's going to blow between 13 and 15 meters, knots. We have 22 sustained.
So
And they're saying that the maximum gust will be 19.
we have seen 26.4.
And we have seen 26. They're a little bit off.
A little bit off, yeah. Are you doing okay?
Litsa has tucked herself in where we sleep during passages, and it's in the middle of the boat near the mast, so it's the calmest place on the boat.
Det är mera vind, men det blåser väl framför oss kanske. Jag vet inte, vad tror du?
Jag har inte sett det. Och jag sitter, så reser jag mig nu så ramlar jag. Kom.
Sitt kvar du, det spelar ingen roll. Hörde du förresten, det var en segelbåt som anropade ett lastfartyg. De bröt lite på fiska. De hade AIS och hermetintransporter. De varnade ett lastfartyg. Hörde ni den konversationen? Så vi har en segelbåt i närheten.
Ja, okej. Ja. Men jag har min radar igång. Har du din? Kom.
We wasn't really worried about the wind, except that we didn't know if it was going to increase even more. But in that moment we enjoyed that Frida was handling it well and we were flying.
Look ahead, the sea is calm, and I know we've been through a lot, but just wait. Wait for better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on.
We still have more than 20 knots sustained wind.
Is getting closer every dawn.
A couple of hours later the wind is calming down, but we still got a nice strong breeze to sail in, but the waves are, well, calmer and flatter, but still quite big. the strong wind had caused at least one casualty. We found a dead squid on the deck.
on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait. Wait for our home to show on the horizon. Soon we'll be there. Hold on tight. I can smell the shore. It's right in front of us if we just hold on tight.
Now when it has calmed down, we are enjoying the blue water sailing, and I share a little tip of how to pass the time.
It has calmed down. So even though it's still about 16 to 18 knots, it's much calmer and the sea state has greatly improved. Now the waves seem to come from the same side. Still get them on the side, but it's not that rocking back and forth in the same way as we had before when it was blowing 24 knots, 22 to 24 knots. So this feels much better, windy. We were sitting down below. It was much more comfortable. I've been sitting down and making a little puzzle. A hobby I had when I was a kid has come in handy when I sail. Because I download 1 or 2 puzzles to my phone. So I'm making a nice Greek fishing boat. When you put them in the same mark and they have the same feeling, it's much calmer in the boat. They have free coffee and they seem 2 seats under us. So now I sit here, blue, but they are so difficult to see. I'm impressed that they can see it in the sea state. Probably doesn't look big on camera. Exercise for your abs. Just to sit. Try to sit still. I just have to tell you that the air out here in the Atlantic, it was the same actually on the Azores, even on the islands. Maybe not in Punta Delgada, but in the minor places. The air is so fresh and there is a difference in how it smells. Out here you can feel and smell the absence of pollution. Do you understand me? I can smell that there are no cars around. There is no factories, nothing. Get some advice. 5.4.
Despite that we were sailing fast for a while, we still need to keep the speed about 6.57 knots.
Let's hear what sails they have. Till tomorrow, detta är Frida Visby. Hopp.
Tjena Lotta! Du, vad har ni för segel uppe? Ja, jag går lite för långsamt. Jag är nere på 5.3, 5.4 ungefär knappt. Över?
Ja, vi har full stor och full fart och vi går 6,9 nu. Ja.
Okej. Ja, jag har också full stor och full fart, men som sagt, jag får inte till det. Okej, men då ska jag försöka trimma lite mer, för det är nog inte. Jag funderar på om jag behöver byta igenom, men jag ska se vad jag kan göra. Aldrig sover fortfarande.
Maritza has come up. Yeah. She wanted to be with us. She's been eating good today.
Day 5, and let's begin by giving me a weather briefing. We are chased by a storm.
Det är nutiden.
Okay.
Så vi håller på att göra den här överbågen här. Vi ska ju dit ner egentligen. Den här vinden gör att vi får rakt medvind. Och därför går vi upp här. Det som får det att snurra ligger här uppe. Det där får vinden att snurra. Och här har vi då mitt i det röda. Men de föreslår ju då att vi ska gå upp i det. Jag tror att vi kommer att fortsätta upp lite högre. Och sen skära ner. Men som du ser så är vi inne på orange där. Lite rött sen. Sen här borta. Nu är vi inne på natten, lördag och söndag. Söndag morgon här. Och här inne är det ju läns och nästan ingen vind alls. Så här blir det motorgång då. Du ser, så han vill ju inte bli sen.
Nej.
Det var ju det där skiten.
Det var det vi
Som
inte
sades att den skulle dra in. Se att det är grönt och blått där.
Ja.
Nu är det det, men från början så visar det där hela vägen till Sagres. Så att man behöver gömma sig bakom hörnet där så fort som möjligt.
The forecast has improved, but we still have to keep the speed up.
So I wake you up at 7 then.
Wake me up at 7, yes. But you see, it's more or less already straight from behind. But the wind is not that hard yet. It's only 7 meters per second. So that's 30 knots. Having 22 knots, that goes to straight from behind without an engine on. That's dangerous.
But if you sleep a couple of hours, but you want me to do anything within those hours?
The plan is to wait it out, but we need to drive. That's the trick. It's things going on now, but I don't feel safe to go to sleep.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you need to sleep before the wind comes, the strong wind.
Yeah,
So I have to wake you up then. But the plan is that I should continue on this course.
yeah, that's the plan if everything goes as planned.
Eventually, Anders did go to sleep despite the weather situation, and trust me that I either deal with the situation or waking up if it gets out of hand. I think this is a common problem among sailing couples where one is much more experienced than the other.
It's rather grey and boring. And the concerning thing is that we have discovered that our AIS isn't seen very far. And we don't see target either until they are quite close. So we have some problem there. We compare with Twin Tamara and they can see the objects much earlier than we can. And we also talked on radio with a freighter that was on collision course, and he could see Twin Tamara, but he couldn't see us until we asked him to check the radar, and then he could see the radar echo. So it's a bit concerning, and due to the weather, there isn't much visibility. I don't know, but maybe we can see a nautical mile or something like that. Cargo ship should see us visually is rather small, so I hope to check the radar, and we keep close eye on our radar as well as AIS. But it's less than 24 hours left, or approximately 24 hours, which feels rather good because now it's day 5, so 5 days at sea, 4 nights. We know we have one more night and well, almost a full day. And now it will be good to get to shore. We have hurried up a little bit since we discovered that there will come in some strong winds. But as it looks now, we will be well behind land and probably even more in Lagos before it arrives. But that means that we have to motor sail again. So we have the main up. We don't even have the jib or general because it would only flap. And we have checked the fuel. The Antiumara has plenty of fuel. We have been sailing quite a lot. Now here, the last 24 hours, there will be quite a lot of motor sailing.
After a bit of a grey day, we got another beautiful sunset. And just like that, we are on day 6 and the final stretch begins.
Tamara just called on the radio and reported they had seen 2 cargo ships that seems to be crossing our path, and I can't see any of them. I managed to locate one of them via the radar. Looks like I may have an IAS target on it now, but I can't see the other one. Now I can see it as an IAS target as well, so this is one of the 2 that Tamara called about. What you can see here is a Wake Echo as well. I first thought it was the same, but I think it is actually the second ship.
It's the 5th and last night aboard. It's really dark outside, but a lot of stars. And this is sleeping.
Are you going to help me? How am I going to write the logbook when you sit there? Huh?
The rag with the tail says, I don't care.
Tintomara, det här är Frida kom. Vi bestämde oss för att ta ner storseglet. Det blåser så lite, 4-5 sekundmeter, så det är nästan inte värt det.
I'm getting closer. We have land. But good morning. I'm not as fresh as I sound, but I tried at least. And good acting. Well, today is the last day. We are approaching the traffic separation zone with that lays south of the São Vicente Cape and over the São Vicente Canyon. So we are approaching it, and we are going to sail a little bit northwest of it and cross right where it begins, so that we will actually not sail in the zone because it's not good for small boats. The problem with that is that we will sail over in the Orca danger zone. I'm beginning to get a bit tired of it, but that's the way it is when you sail here. And luckily, at least when we left the Azores, there had been no attacks in Portuguese water, except one attack early in spring. But otherwise, they have been concentrating to Gibraltar and the Spanish city, Port Barbate. Well, I came up here to check out the sunrise, check out the horizon to see if there's any ships. Still can't entirely trust our AIS. We are getting much better at identifying ships on the radar, honestly, because we're forced to do it that way.
Smile, 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 we can finally see land.
There's the mainland. We are finally approaching land. We have a couple of hours more, but we think we will be in Marina Lagos around 6 o'clock tonight. So that's great, and they have one berth, because we had reserved from tomorrow, so we are a bit early, but they managed to fix one place for us. So that's great. We may have to change place tomorrow, we don't know. But the most important thing is that we can tie up tonight and relax. And I'm really looking forward to a shower. I could shower on board. We have plenty of water and plenty of hot water. I also think we will probably go to Portofino and have pizza, the way we did the very first night when we came to August. It's tradition.
It's a good restaurant.
And then I don't have to cook, and I don't have to take care of the dishes.
And I have my special dish,
Yes.
calzone.
And we have also seen dolphins that has been greeting us, but they have been quite far from the boat. So I've not been able to film them, but we could see them jump high up in the air. So I love that welcome committee, and I hope the orcas stay far away. We don't want to see them. Not here, not now. And this is, I was just about to say Anders is hand steering the last of bit, but he's not.
Not anymore.
I can see Punta Piedras, and I can see parts of Lagos. Exciting! Feels like coming home. We have spent so much time here, and the mountains and the skyline feels familiar because we've been here for almost 6 months. And I honestly are really, really proud of what we have accomplished, Anders and I.
Perfect timing with the bridge opening. We are so glad we didn't have to tie up here at the waiting Cancun, but could go straight to our berth. We have arrived. We are back in Lagos.
So now we have arrived, just in time for the tourist boat to come back. Feels good to be back in Lagos. It almost feels like being home. And so nice to be ashore. We need to do a little bit better fixing the lines, but we are tied up with 4 lines, kill the motor. We're here. Thank you. Litsa is smelling a squid for the first time.